Okay then, okay. What do you say? You say, Jobby. And now I'm going to talk about The Last of Us TV series, Series 1, 9 episodes, HBO, shown in Sky Atlantic in the UK. What day I think it. Going for the beginning right to the end, so as they say in the trade, spoilers! That's your only warning. Right, going for episode 1 to 9. 1 and 2, they're pretty close to the games, I have to say. I think these two are my favourites. So the first episode is about an hour and 20 minutes long. There are minor changes to the story. There are more explanations to, how the virus was such spread wide in such a huge area overnight. It's because of an infected wheat product and everybody was eating pancakes. But you see that Joel and his brother and his daughter didn't eat pancakes in the morning and refused cakes and biscuits for people throughout the episode. So they didn't turn. That's how. Quite clever, actually. Never noticed it in my first viewing, but aye. They've changed how the actual fungus works. Or fungi. Went to the party because it was a fun guy. Oh, Jesus. Well, there's dad jokes in the actual series and games, so I can get away with that, right? It's no longer spore-based, but it's now tendril-based, that's fine, I didn't really mind. There's a hive mind now that if you touch one of the wee leeches, lurcher things on the floor, that you can give away your position to the cordyceps horde up to a mile away. But that's a bit more tricky, I think, because I'm sure there's like bits where they do stand in like fucking tendrils and nothing happens, and then all of a sudden something does happen. I don't know, it's a bit all over the place for me, that. But yeah, it's a fine change. I wasn't too sure about Pedro playing Joel. I liked him in the first couple of episodes, but as the series went on, I was less enamoured with his performance. I'm sorry, Pedro, but I don't know if it's you or if it's the writing, but they just made Joel a wee bit too soft. He was like the normal Joel up to the end of the second episode, then he went a bit soft, and he stayed soft. And then it's just... The clicker scene in episode 2, though, was really good. That was excellent. And unfortunately, that's the only clickers you see in the entire fucking series. I'm not happy about the lack of infected. Going from about episode 5 onwards. There's plenty infected in episode 1 and 2. Number 3, there's one infected, and I'll have a rant about episode 3 in a minute. Episode 4, there's no infected. There's a hint of infected, but there actually isn't any. There's an infected fight at the end of episode 5 that lasts about 5 minutes, and then it's just a singular infected once or twice the rest of the series. I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, we're in this real dangerous situation, we're told. Everybody that you meet is like, don't go out west, it's too dangerous, it's too thick with infected. Where the fuck are they then? Where are they? Sorry, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about this. Better fucking sort it for series 2, or that'll be all for me, thank you. I wonder if we'll get a Joel in 1. I think they'll change that, personally. Anyway, episode 3 is Bill and Frank's episode. It starts off pretty good. You get to get a bit more world building right at the start, but Ellie and Joel aren't really in this episode much. 5 minutes, maybe, of an hour and 20 minute episode. Which is a very bizarre thing to do that early on in your series when you're trying to establish these characters. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Although I do really enjoy Bella's performance as Ellie. She's good. She's sassy and cheeky in mostly all the right ways. Not quite, but mostly. Anyway, back to this episode, so it's just a big love story. What I really expected from The Last of Us was, a fight for survival in a dangerous world, fighting against mushroom zombies and deranged psychopaths. And what we got for an hour and 20 minutes in the third episodes was a deranged prepper and 2 guys kissing in front of a strawberry field patch. Not what I wanted. It's just, it's too long an episode for that geek. There's just not enough world building going on. It's a love story, and I'm sorry it comes too early and destroys the pacing of the rest of the series. Now, Joel and what's her face, Tess, are in this. Tess does die in the same way in the second episode as she does in the game, which, again, I was disappointed with that. I thought they could have changed it a wee bit, but no. No, she just snuffs it again. I suppose it's closer to the game, closest to the game, only this time in episode 2 it's not Fedra forces that kill her, it's just Cordyceps. Cordyceps Horde, because they trigger one for some reason. So they meet up with Bill and Frank, and Bill's like, get the fuck out my house, has a gun on the table. Joel's like, get that gun out my fucking face, you dick. Then Joel's like, you're going to be tested by raiders at some point, mate. This whole thing's no going to hold. Can't do all this on your own. Strange coming for Joel, you know, it's like, biggest loner out there, only really goes about with one other person, and for, well, 2 people, 20 years, brother, Tess, that's it. Then that night they have an attack of the raiders, and it's like, they don't even try, they just all get fucking set alight, they burst into flames, and then Bill comes running out his house, stands in the middle of the road, no cover whatsoever, and just starts picking folk off with a fucking sniper rifle. It's like, why are you not in your house? Why are you not in some form of cover, like at the side of a building? Or no, just stand right out in the open. Then he gets shot, and we're all really surprised when that happens. Frank drags him back into the house, and it actually looks, and they make it look like Bill dies, but he doesn't. Turns out Frank's got cancer. This is 10 years later, Frank's got cancer, and they both decide to top themselves with wine and painkillers. Aye, very good, but I was kind of hoping a bit more from Bill, because the game, you know, the game, he's a really grumpy bastard in the game. His partner fucking hates him and tries to run away from him, getting killed in the process, and there's a lot of banter between him and Ellie and Joel, which I was actually really fucking looking forward to. But it didn't happen. I didn't actually mind the change between him and Frank. That was quite good. It was quite nice. But again, it's a bit out of place, I think. I know we need optimism in desperate times. And fucking hell, Monty, fuck will you? It's just a lovey-dovey. It's like Coronation Street and zombies, do you know what I mean? Or EastEnders, or Emmerdale and zombies. And there's like, but we have zombies in our zombie show. Nah, let's not bother our bum cheeks with that. Fuck's sake. And it gets to episode 4 and 5, which could really have been condensed into the one episode. Joel only kills one person and then gets done in after some random skinny bastard. And then Ellie has to save him. That happens in the game, but it's different. And I'm like, Joel, you're just such a fucking useless bastard. She might as well just be fucking taking herself across the fucking country for all fucking use you are. There is a nice wee shot of a Mortal Kombat 2 arcade game in the show. I like that, rather than this fucking make-believe pish they made for the game. Show, game, show. I'm getting confused here, right? Yeah, then you meet up with, was it Henry and Sam in episode 4, right at the end. I think they made him a wee bit too young, and Henry's deaf for some fucking reason. Maybe they needed their woke points, their quota. Oh, we've got a white lassie, a Spanish-looking guy, and 2 black kids. Let's make one of them deaf, so we've got you get the whole ensemble there, do you know what I mean? Anyway, so, and then episode 5 is the inhabitants of the city looking for fucking Sam and whatever his cunty fucking name is. I can't be arsed because they die no long after that. And then you've got, remember the bit in the game, if you've played the game, where you get to just coming up to leaving that city and they're chasing you with a Humvee, and then you need to sneak through, take out the sniper, then snipe the rest of them, then snipe a bunch of infected. Well, you've got this sort of in this episode, sort of, and then the bloater shows up, and then you see the voice actor of Tommy in the game, who's playing a character in the show, get killed, he gets his head ripped off by the bloater. Then you don't see any more bloaters either, and I'm like, okay, the bloater looked pretty cool, but you could tell it was pure CGI, but I don't think there was any other way you could really have done that, you know. But it's like, and that's your last big infected showdown in the entire series. I'm not joking, and I'm not too pleased about it. Episode after that, they find Tommy and his wife. I can't remember the wife's name, never mind. And they sniff out infected people with a dog, and then it's actually quite a tense moment. It's good, and then it's like it's going to sniff Ellie out, and she's going to get mauled to death by a dog. You're like, that's not going to fucking happen. But you know, for a split second, I wasn't quite sure. Then it turns around, the dog's licking her face and kissing her, and she's laughing, and it's all good, and they all go back to Jackson, and they all get scran. And this is where I think Ellie's character falls apart a wee bit. She's been sassy and funny up this point. Now she's just a downright bastard. And it's just like, you're like, what the fuck happened to you? You were happy with the dog 2 fucking seconds ago. Now you're just treating everybody like a complete fucking arsehole. It's just weird. And then Joel has a breakdown, and I'm like, what is this? Where's the Joel for the games? What's going on? He's just pissed himself. I know they want to do different things, but I think they fucking mess with Joel too much. And yeah, not really all that impressed. I'd maybe correct that for the second series, make him into the bad arse he is, and then kill him. Go Team Golf Club. Then you find out that Tommy's wife's pregnant, blah, fucking blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I'm not going to take Ellie off your hands, you're doing it yourself. And then they have the wee blowout that they have in the game, only they don't leave Jackson to do that. Fine, pacing, no problem. Changes like that are fine. Then they do eventually leave and go to the university where they see the monkeys. And there's no infected here either, oh, fuck's sake. They find out the Fireflies have fucked off for whatever reason, and then the bad guys show up and Joe gets stabbed with a broken baseball bat, which is actually a bit more believable than what happens in the game, because he falls on rebar, you know, mate, and it punctures right through his gut. I mean, that guy is fucking dead. If he doesn't get a fucking, you know, a suture, a wee bit of a, you know, fucking sewing, I don't think you ever see that happen with Ellie. I don't think she's much of a seamstress either. So, in the game, yes, it is a video game, but if we wanted to go down a realistic route here, Joe would have died from that wound in the game because it was very severe, and it had punctured right fucking through him, right through his gut. Yeah, and there was a huge bleeding hole. He'd have died in fucking moments. Anyway, so it's a baseball bat in the series, which I like to change. They barely get away from them, and then I think it's the Left Behind episode after that. And they cut like most of the actual DLC out. It's just the Riley bits, and I was like, nah. Where's the tense bits with Ellie going through the mall with the clickers and the fucking bandits that they've just been chased by? Where's all that? Why is that not in here? So the Left Behind episode really should have been 2 episodes, but never mind. And then one infected shows up at the end of the Left Behind episode and bites both of them. And you're like, fuck's sake. In the game, they get chased by a horde of fucking infected, and Riley's shooting people, and Ellie's dodging people, and it's quite exciting, and it's none of it's in the show, and I'm like, fuck's sake. Then you meet up with David, who is astoundingly creepy in this. I really like the guy that played the part of David. And his cannibal brethren. This is where you'll see Troy Baker. And I have to say, I'm sorry, Troy, but you were a bit flat. I'm not really impressed with your acting. Everyone's like, oh, he did such a fucking amazing job. Can we stop blowing the guy for 2 seconds and just tell the truth? He was dry. He really wasn't in it much. And had he no been in it, you wouldn't have fucking missed him. Okay? Let's just be honest. He's no very good. Okay? And then Ellie kills him with a meat cleaver, as you would. Why not, indeed? And then she just kills David and shows up, and Joel was like, oh, sweet wee lathie, I'm sorry you had to say that. And then they fuck off. And then it's the end of the series after that, and I'm just, where are they in fact? Where is this dangerous world I keep seeing? It's just full of twats. Full of morons. Aye, so they get to the hospital in Wyoming, blah blah blah. There's no underground scene, no bus, no fucking river, no diving about, dodging rapids and killing bloaters, or clickers, or runners. In fact, there is no infected in this episode whatsoever. At least I don't think. No, I'm telling a lie. The start of the episode has got one infected in it, because this is Ashley Johnson's turn to take a wee bit of on-screen acting. She's far better. like fucking night and day, brother. You know what I mean? It's like Troy was the dark side of the moon and she's the normal side of the moon. Do you know what I mean? She did a fantastic job as Ellie's ma. And she gets bitten just as she's giving birth to Ellie, but there's a wee bit of ambiguity whether the cord was cut in time. And I've seen things about, like, oh, if you get bit and you could chop their arm off and you can save them. That's not, apparently not true. So, like, if you get bit in the arm, it takes roughly about 3 or 4 seconds for that infection to get to your brain because of the way the blood flow works. So, if you're bitten, you're fucked. So, she was bit in the leg, which is quite close to the area where the umbilical would be, I suppose. So, yeah, I can believe it. And this is what makes Ellie immune, is that she was bitten in utero, okay? And then given birth to, so she'd get the fungus in the brain and all that pish. And then go to the hospital and the Fireflies find them with flash grenades, and that's basically it. The explanation for the vaccine, it's not actually a vaccine they're wanting to make. They want to take the cells from Ellie's brain and make a sort of a camouflage, like World War Z, the World War Z movie did that, which is quite a bit better because, you know, Abby's father, being a doctor, a surgeon, a brain surgeon, probably should have known that fungus, there's no vaccine for a fungal infection. I don't know how basic that is. I know that would come under mycology, which is, yes. I'm assuming he would do basic stuff like that. I don't know about I don't know how it all works. I did it. I worked for the NHS in the UK, so, and I get taught that about mushrooms. So he should probably have known that in the game. So it doesn't actually make any fucking sense. But they changed it for the show and made it make a bit more sense. So I actually quite like that. And then it just plays out like you think in the game. Shootout, kills everybody, saves Ellie, shoots Marlene dead, leaves. It's 42 minutes. It's probably the most rushed episode of all of them. Now, I can understand they weren't sure how people were going to receive this show. But I tell you something, see if they'd changed up episode 3 a bit, made Bill a bit more Bill, maybe even have got the actor for the game to play Bill like they did with Marlene. The Marlene in the TV show is the Marlene in the game. Why didn't they do that with Bill as well? Because he's another minor character. Bill doesn't die in the game. He dies here, but doesn't die in the game. I'm not happy with what they did with Bill. Sorry. Don't care one way or the other. I'm not happy with what they did. Because he's still alive in the series. As far as we know, we don't see him in Last of Us Part 2, but as far as I'm concerned, still alive, still a nutcase, still living in that wee town. Maybe we'll see him in Last of Us 3. Maybe we should see him in Last of Us 3. Maybe he should be a protagonist in Last of Us 3. Like, he gets run out of his town and happens to find Jackson, and Ellie's like, look, I lost 2 fingers. Joel's did. And he'll be like, give a fuck about Joel. He didn't give a fuck about anybody but himself in the game. Which is, yeah, good fucking yes. I want to see that in the game a bit more. Or I want to see him in the game a bit more, I should say. So, as an adaptation, it's just okay. It's probably one of the better video game adaptations, but they cut too much out of it for my liking. Too many of the action scenes are gone needlessly, and they've just turned it into a soap opera for the most part, which is a bit disappointing, really. It'd be like, going to see a Resident Evil movie, and the first 5 minutes there's like a zombie battle, and then that's it for the rest of the fucking thing, and it's just them scurrying about in a dank underground bunker, trying to open doors and having arguments while shagging each other. Okay, that's what it'd be like. It would be shite. You wouldn't want to see it. So I like this. I will get it in DVD. But I hope the second series just get more action scenes. Not that I was going to say I hope it's better, but I don't think this is a bad series. I just think it's a bit misplaced in areas, and things cut out that shouldn't have been cut out, things changed that shouldn't have been changed. But I do like most of the changes, apart from Bill and Joel being fucking wallopers. I do like a lot of the changes. It's good, and yeah, I do recommend you watch it if you're a fan of the game. And if you're not a fan of the game, yeah, give it a watch. You might actually prefer it, or like it more than I did, should we say. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and all that pish, and I'll see you in the next one.